Okay, I'm just going to hit record.
Okay.
I can edit this shit, so none of this is in like we could say like I eat ass. I'm gonna cut it. Maybe. I don't know.
Can you imagine if we have like a compilation later on with all the shit that we
like pre starting.
The shit verbal shit posting.
This is what two alcoholics like to speak about.
One's got an unhealthy obsession and one's just here for the ride.
I'm for the ride, ain't I? I feel like getting shot. No, I'm just gonna set that up here. Just on standby. Hey, look, it's easier to buy a half gallon. It's a lot cheaper than.
I mean, I still have that snap of us working on my computer, and you literally just.
I forgot about that.
No, she exists.
Okay, I can't drink or can't do anything without drinking. Can't stream.
Well, I needed a drink for that shit. That was. Whenever it goes to us adding on to that, I'm literally gonna be like, "You better get the alcohol ready, son. It's gonna be doozy."
I got Lily's bed set up, so you
we gotta get shit faced to work on my PC.
Add a hard drive? No, not before I'm buttered.
Move everything to a new case? No.
No, why?
Honestly, whenever I get a new card, that bitch ain't gonna fit.
Oh, fuck it ain't.
You know it's not. We got the sucker zip tied to the side. Do you not remember?
No, I remember. I remember now.
And we had to screw a hole for the power source.
No, I'm gonna bring it up. That poor thing is more jewed up than anything I've ever seen.
Just a little monster.
Little jerry-rigged thing, God bless. But it runs like a dream. It's so pretty.
It's so pretty. Look at it. Just don't ask how it got put together. She got more zipped.
I'm probably gonna like have to send that snap so I can like put it over this, or at least like splice it into it so they're like, oh my fucking god, they cannot see it.
Of which you drinking or the PC?
Yes.
Yes and yes. Well, it's the same damn thing. And then we got. Oh god.
Look at that little asshole. Watch me. Hey, watch me go.
Could you have it?
Oh, well, there is one big difference.
What?
I ain't got Pepsi no more.
We don't need Pepsi no more.
We're drinking hot water.
That's where we at now. Water's the chaser.
No. Spit. Okay.
Alright.
Alright. Let's try this. Take one. Good evening, good afternoon. Wait. How's this supposed to go?
It's your fucking intro.
Shit. Okay.
Maybe we didn't think about how serious we can be.
Well, I knew this shit wasn't gonna be serious, because, like, if you're like, this dude killed 10 people.
She got fucking gutted.
You mean he did what to her ankles? You mean he skinned her and wore it?
Get the new Gucci.
Okay, alright.
Oh, papers, don't eat that bug. Oh, it's an ant. No, ma'am. Dead.
Damn boy, the fuck ants.
You're welcome, papers. I saved you. Look at her. She's like, God damn.
I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about this poor fucker you didn't properly kill.
Let him die. Oh.
Yeah, give me garbage can. Give me garbage can.
That's my desk.
Okay. Alright, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Kai, and
I'm Amber.
And this is the Kimber Files. We're gonna start this shit off with a bang, cause I reckon the whole purpose of this thing Amber's got some shit, and I'm about to be educated.
Oh, we about to educate? All right. I got
ahead,
a doozy for us, folks. So basically, this is our first episode. Kind of wanted to start off with a bang, and what better way to start off than with literally, probably, arguably, my most favorite conspiracy, I guess we would put in that category, of all time. I don't know if we've heard of it, but Missing 411. Have you heard of it at all?
I literally don't know what that even is.
Okay, so you know how, Missing 411 is, lingo for, missing information?
No.
Be like, what's the 411? What's up? So, Missing 411 is, a play on words for, missing info.
Okay, I got you. I'm following.
Basically, it all started, this guy called David Paulides. I know his name, can't pronounce his last name to save my life, because it's fucking weird. You can look it up if you want to. So, David was actually, a cop for, 16 years or so. Homie's got the experience, right? He's worked with the FBI, and he's been a detective, all that jazz. So basically, he retires, and he was already into writing books about collections of Bigfoot occurrences. I don't know how you feel about Bigfoot, but...
I believe in him.
Okay, alright, good. So, but he's not one of those people that it's he's telling you what he believes. He collects the information, and he puts it out there, and he's like, you do what you will. Here it is.
Kind of like Wikipedia.
Yeah. But he absolutely believes some shit's going on with this.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into it. So basically he was out in one of the national parks, probably related to getting Bigfoot information, when he was approached by some of the park rangers who were either retired or were still in service. Either way, they were park rangers.
Yeah.
So they recognized him, they knew who he was, and they came up to him, they approached him, and they were like, listen. They basically said, listen, we got some shit you might be interested in. Mm-hmm. And David's like, all right, lay it on me. So they basically tell him, have you ever noticed all these missing people from national parks? It never gets talked about, but it's a thing. And David's like, no, not really. So David starts looking into this, and come to find out there's a lot of missing people in national parks. Just in and around national parks, a lot of people have gone missing.
Yeah. I'm
talking vanished. But some of them don't even completely vanish, Sometimes bodies are found. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're found alive. Most times they're not found at all.
Yeah.
And then sometimes years later they find parts. So it's across the spectrum.
Okay.
They're all unsolved. No one knows, if they go missing, no one knows what happened.
You reckon they got somebody out there, Daniel Boone? You think we got a few people?
Fucking it is Daniel Boone. He never died. Shit. But, yeah, it's literally all across the spectrum. And so he starts looking into these... We're going to drink this early.
I'm about to take a shot.
But, he starts looking at these cases, and he's like, wow, there's really some shit going on here. So I'm talking, hundreds, getting them to thousands, these cases, right, all across the country. It's really worldwide, but, we're going to stick to the mainland. So he starts looking in, and as he's going through these cases, he starts to pick up on a specific criteria that just keeps happening, coincidences, and eventually it's too many coincidences starts to become a thing.
Yeah.
So once he's, went through all these cases, then he starts looking for cases that meet this criteria, basically. Because, people can go missing in the national parks. It's outside. It's out in the woods. People can fall off a cliff, whatever.
Right.
We don't care about them.
Oh.
That's not why we're here. I'm going to get blacklisted on the first episode. Just kidding. We care about all the missing people, but they don't fall into, this conspiracy, paranormal issue that is becoming pretty well known across the board for these cases.
Right.
So, we'll get into the criteria of that in a minute, but basically that's what Missing 411 is. He has multiple books on it at this point of different areas. I have the eastern United States and the western United States. He's got probably 5 at least books written about this stuff. That's how many cases there are of this. And basically his books are really catalogs of these cases of these people going missing, which is sad. It is very sad to read, all this
absolutely.
stuff. Like, don't tell me it's completely heartless. It is sad what's happening to these people. It's even more sad that, like, no one knows about it. No one's really talking about it. And, he has asked the national parks, I want a list of the people you have missing. Because, when people go missing, you go to law enforcement and stuff, they have missing people lists. Mm-hmm. National parks do not keep record of the people that go missing.
Really?
Yeah, there's no lists. They don't keep track of it.
How come? Well, I mean, forget.
Because, national parks are like, they really do whatever they want because they're national parks. They don't really have, like, the cops here don't have domain over the parks. You know what I'm saying? Because they're national parks. Mm-hmm. So national park people really just do whatever the fuck they want. And it's okay, but it's, like, not okay. And so part of the things they do whatever they want is not having a list of the missing people that go missing in their parks. And, he reaches out to these parks to get these case files, and a lot of times he gets the case files, they hand over what they have, no questions asked. But there's a lot of times they, like, refuse to get the files. And, with the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, you're allowed to ask for that information.
So anybody can say, hey, I want.
Yeah, it's case file. It's, they're allowed to ask for that information. And it's fine. That's the point of the FOIA. But some of these cases, Yosemite in particular, Yosemite will not give him any cases at all referring to their missing people. And Yosemite is actually, like, the largest cluster of missing people there is. I think in the latest interview, I listened to him, he said there was at least, like, 45 cases of people going missing from Yosemite just on its own.
Yeah.
And Yosemite, when he reached out to them for the case files, they just did not hand them over. They're like, no, we're not giving them to you. They asked him originally, what do you even want them for? And he was like, you can't ask me that. He was like, it's the point of the FOIA. He's like, what I want it for, it has no effect on you giving me the information. So you're not even supposed to ask me that. But naturally they did, and they were like, no, we're not handing it over for you. So, he goes, gets all these case files put together, and yeah, that is Missing 411. It's some pretty spooky, creepy stuff.
Jesus.
With these missing people. And a lot of people just have, like, no idea about it. I love, like I said, it's my favorite one, and when I bring it up to people, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. No one, you wouldn't even think that's going on.
I mean, some people here listening in is probably familiar with some of the YouTube videos referring to, like, people, like, finding stairs out in the middle of a forest, or, like, not to even approach that, or, like, certain sounds. Like, park rangers have these, like, crazy ass stories, but here then, like, to have this kind of situation where someone is blatantly looking for some evidence and some way to find these people, even though they have these crazy ass stories, they're not even really trying to find any resolve with it. It's just a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, when these people first get reported missing, naturally there's massive search and rescue efforts put out for days and weeks at a time. And after that, once they've searched every inch of the place, and we'll get into that, that's really the end of it. That's the end of the line. I get it. What can you do when you've searched every inch of, like, the near, like, 10, 15 miles of the area the person goes missing? But yeah, after that initial search and however long they search for, if nothing's found, that's the end of the line. So basically, he picks up on this very strange, coincidental missing persons going on, and that's how Missing 411 came about.
Jesus. So, with that, I guess on their end, they say, we've done everything we can. There's nothing else that we can do. The cops have a log of missing persons. But even then, if there are those search parties, if somebody doesn't go to the cops, then they think they can just go to the park rangers themselves. Mm-hmm. And then the park rangers is like, hey, we can't find anything. We've done everything we can. Somebody would probably just give up right then and there, and that's probably another case in that 411.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, the park rangers get involved, but, like, FBI will get involved in a lot of these cases, and they just kind of take over it from there. Like, park rangers are really just kind of like the mediate between the two.
Yeah.
Of, like, the missing person's family and then the FBI and whoever else gets involved. Because, I mean, a lot of these cases, it's wild cards every time of who all gets involved on searching for these people.
Right.
And that kind of makes it even more, like, weird when you get into, like, certain situations. You know, you have people showing up for this missing persons that it's like, why are they here?
Yeah.
Types of deal. It's like, this isn't really something you guys do. You know, like on like one case that I'll talk about, the Green Berets, I believe is what they're called. It's a task in the military.
In the military,
yeah. They showed up for this, and they don't come out for missing persons. So it's like, what were they doing there? You know, it's stuff like that. It's the little details like that in a lot of these cases that it just adds to the weird factor going on.
So for specially trained members like that coming to look for something like that, surely to goodness there'd be, you know, some kind of certainty that they would find something.
Oh, we'll get into that case for sure. It's weird. They're all weird, do not get me wrong. All these cases are weird. It's just how weird are they?
Right.
A lot of them, you know, will stand out on how weird they are and how stuff does just not make sense with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, some of them are just irregular weird. But yeah.
So what case would be like a good example as far as, like, you know, with what you're referencing to? Like, what's the first case, you know, talking about this, what's the most prominent one for you right now?
Honestly, there's so many cases. Like, when I was just getting examples for today, it was just like, what do you pick? Because a lot of these cases, it's just people vanishing. Like, turn a corner, gone. Turn around for a couple seconds, gone. And, you know, especially with the kids, you know, parents start looking immediately. Nowhere. These kids literally just vanish out of thin air. It's crazy how fast these people just disappear.
Jesus.
And that's what makes it so weird. It's because it's like, how does that happen? How does a physical human being just disappear like that? So, I mean, a lot of these cases are like that. Vast majority of them are someone just a few feet away from other people, broad daylight. All of these cases, broad daylight.
Yeah.
Like, out in rural settings, just people vanishing.
That's insane. Fucking aliens.
People talk about the aliens, man. Absolutely. The ideas that get thrown around, you know, aliens, of course, interdimensional rifts, because the places these people end up and the places bodies are found, we're talking miles from where they went missing. And, like, especially with the little kids, it really puts it into perspective. You know, you have these, like, 2- and 4-year-old kids vanishing, and you're finding them miles away from where they went missing. No 2-year-old is going to walk 10 miles.
Yeah, no.
It's not going to happen. How did they get there? What led to that?
Right.
So that's when that's where the interdimensional rifts come into play. Because it's just like, how else do you fucking explain that? And then, of course, a lot of people question the government doing it because they're always questionable in a lot of these cases. Of course, it's the government. Because, like, how do this many people go missing under these circumstances? Government.
Right, yeah.
And then
we're just a pack of Dale Gribbles. We're just a pack of Dale Gribbles. God bless.
And then it's a lot of people just question, you know, what if there is just stuff going on we don't know about that we can't comprehend for these people in these cases to happen the way that they do?
Yeah.
And I mean, really, it makes you wonder, like, people vanishing like that, you have to wonder, you know, like, what if there's something out there that I don't know about for this to happen?
I mean, you know, if somebody like me or you were to, like, just poof, disappear, you know, if somebody were to, like, try to kill, like, we are not the type to, like, just sit still.
No.
Like, you will hear some muffled, hick garbage just spewing from my mouth. Like, just me calling their mom a hoe and kicking and just, you know, raising absolute hell in a handbasket. Like, if I'm going to have a bad time, you are too. Unless we have interdimensional cable and
yeah, unless I step through an interdimensional rift, I'm just gone. But yeah, so we'll go ahead get into basically the criteria these cases fall into that David really looks for at this point for what he thinks is cases in this situation.
Yeah.
Basically, rural settings, can't pronounce the word, but it's national parks, out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
woods, rough terrain, rural setting. We're not in town. We're not in the city.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Which is a given with national parks, Another big factor that plays into are the dogs. Regular dogs and search dogs play a factor in these cases. So with the regular dogs, a lot of the times, people will be with dogs when they go missing, and sometimes the dog comes back, the person doesn't. Sometimes the dog's found with the person. It's just a weird common factor. Sometimes they're like, the dog gets lured away and the person's going after the dog, and that's when they go missing type situation. With the tracking dogs, however, those are a little weird because a lot of times, you get a missing person, of course they're going to bring in the tracking dogs, right?
Yeah.
Track the scent. So with the scent dogs, a lot of times they either A, can't find a scent anywhere, or B, they're just refusing to track, which is very weird, and it's very common in these cases where the tracker dogs just either can't find a scent or they're not going after it. They'll literally just sit there, won't do anything.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you reckon causes something like that? Like for a dog to just straight up, I'm not doing this.
I mean, a lot of times, which another criteria factor is
demons.
Yes. It's the devil.
Fucking devil.
But a lot of times these people go missing, and another thing he looks for is right after these people go missing, beforehand it'll be nice, pretty day. After these people go missing, you're talking dramatic weather changes, like snowstorm comes in, like 2 feet of snow for the next week. Massive, like, rainstorm comes in, rains for 5 days. So naturally, any scent that was there is gone, Yeah. That happens often enough that it got put into the criteria of massive weather changes happening, like right after somebody goes missing, and it interferes with the search specifically, like it delays search and rescue from getting out there, where it affects what scent could have been there for the dogs.
You reckon a killer, somebody, don't give fucking ideas, but they were like sitting there watching the weatherman, like, well, this Tuesday, 90% chance of rain for the entire remaining couple of days. And, the killer's like, that right there, yep, I'm gonna go post me some people.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it's like, it's hard to say, like, how could that be manipulated, but at the same time, the coincidence is there.
Right. Like,
so it's like, do what you will with that information, but it is there. Some people don't put a lot of his criteria, people pick and choose what criteria they put stock into, but he's just like, look, these are the multiple coincidences that are like multiple coincidences, so I'm just putting it out there.
He literally kept track of everything.
Oh, he literally devoted years. He's been doing this for years of researching these cases.
Jesus.
Like, he has his own team and stuff, but yeah, he's been at it for years. I didn't even find out about this until, I don't know, a year or two ago. He's been at it, I don't know, early 2000s probably.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's why I was like, man, I am late to the game.
I'm just now sitting down.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
It's crazy. Like, once you get into looking into these cases, man, and it's like you really start reading them, it's like, holy, why is this not talked about more? It's so spooky. It's crazy.
Holy fuck.
And, like, no one has any idea.
I mean, I'm learning some shit, and sure everybody else is too right now, because, we all go to our day-to-day, like, we're all the main character of our own fucking story, and then You come in here with this shit and blow my goddamn mind. And now
I'm gonna make you feel real unsafe.
I'm gonna be driving down the parkway, down right straight through Daniel Boone Forest, and look up in the hill and think, there's probably like 10 people up in there right now.
Oh, just wait. The first case I got is from the Appalachian.
Yeah,
it's a good one.
Oh, my backyard is Daniel Boone. This is awesome. This is not. This is not.
He wasn't found either. Sad, but.
I'm nervous.
Mm-hmm.
You nervous?
No.
Oh, fuck! You're a different breed, ain't you?
Look, like I'm telling you, I told you, I love this kind of stuff, but reading these books, like, it'll make you skin crawl after so many of just reading these missing persons files, really, and just the details of it. It's just creepy, makes your skin crawl.
You know what else makes your skin crawl?
Liquor.
Jim Beam, amen.
Like, yeah, shucks, but we only go deeper from here.
Ah, fuck. You want a shot?
Oh, no, I'm good.
Good, I didn't want to give it to you no way.
Maybe later. Oh! Okay, next criteria.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of these cases that go missing, disabled people kind of pop up a lot. You know, ranging from hearing impairments to like physical disablements of like that person couldn't walk that far physically.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't go far type deal. People who like maybe like in wheelchairs, like on the autistic spectrum, you know, stuff like that.
Right.
Disabled impairments pop up pretty often in these cases. And I know what you're thinking, you know, well, yeah, someone with a disabled impairment in the woods is kind of a given for stuff to happen like that. But it's like when you look at the details of these cases specifically, you know, you get these people who, like I said, can't go very far, but vanish into thin air. Well, where did they go? They couldn't go far.
Yeah.
It's like it really accredits to how did that happen, especially for that person.
And you know, I know some of y'all probably thinking this is like near a lake or a pond or something. Some of this is just like straight up like
boulder fields, man.
Yeah, like
boulder fields is another criteria. It's like these people vanish thin air, like out on the rocks, rough terrain.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
See, some of that I do know about. Like, you know, this isn't like, oh, the kid got, you know, sucked away by a blue hole or something like that. No, like, you know, blue holes are a thing around here. If you're not familiar with what a blue hole is, it's this little current, a little tunnel of water where the what is it? The suction. I don't know. If you're so much as like, you know, knee level in like one of these waterways, you will get sucked like a vacuum tube, and it'll literally crush you. Like some of it's just like real tight waterways, and you know some people get stuck down in it and just drown there. But like I said, like just some of this is you know, not necessarily being around water. It's just like you said, just caught up. Massive trees, flatland, or you know, on a hillside.
Yeah, it's like all the main national parks really, like these people don't even have to be around near water. Like I said, they can just turn a corner, go behind a bush, and vanish. Like it's crazy how these people are just literally been plucked out of thin air.
Yeah.
Now, granted, with the water, a lot of times they're found by water, you know, alive or deceased, one of the two. They are usually, a lot of them can be found by water. Sometimes they do go missing by water, and naturally the first instinct is for them to check the water. I actually have a case example of where they do that. Kid was not in the water. We'll say it like that. We'll get into that case example later. But yeah, water does usually pop up a lot in these cases. Mostly we're dealing with when they're found. It's almost like they're intentionally, like, if you want to be found, I imagine you would be left near the water.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people would check there first.
Yeah.
Because usually, people do the whole, if you're lost, follow the river down type situation.
Right, yeah.
So it's like I said, it's just weird stuff like that, weird details that just keep adding to these cases that make them even weirder.
Okay, holy shit.
Yeah, so...
You have more criteria, right?
Yeah, so with a lot of these cases, usually clothing is missing. And I'm not talking just, like, it's never found. Clothing will be missing. Like, a shoe is missing, never found. And sometimes, a lot of times, their clothes are left, intentionally. Like, they just took them off and left them. Yeah. And it's like, what? What sense does that make? Mm-hmm. And now, when people suffer from hypothermia, it's called, I think, paradoxical undressing type situation. And it's like they're so cold, they think they're hot, and they're literally freezing to death. They start taking their clothes off, That's when that happens. Now, granted, this missing clothes criteria happens regardless of temperature. And sometimes these people aren't even gone long enough for that to even take effect. Yeah. It's like people just take their clothes off, like random pieces will be found. Sometimes they won't be found at all. Sometimes the person's found, and some of their clothes are missing, and the clothes are never found. It's just weird stuff like that with their clothing.
Jesus.
Going missing or being altered, or they find the clothing and never find the person. Type deal. Yeah. So the clothing is one of the criteria he looks at, because it's just a weird detail, again, that makes really no sense in a lot of cases. And it's like, well, if it's missing, where did it go?
Jesus.
Basically, the other stuff, the dramatic weather changes after someone goes missing, that specifically delays search and rescue. Yeah. These people go missing, these cases, always midday, afternoon, broad daylight. These people are plucked out of air. A lot of people, it's a weird one, is a lot of people will be around berries or briar bushes and swamps. Usually pop up a lot. Like, someone will be picking berries, disappears. Someone will be found in berry bushes. A lot of kids, I know there's a lot of cases where a lot of kids are found in swamps, and it's like, how did they even get in there? Or briar patches, the same thing. How did they even get in there? It's just a weird detail that pops up enough times for it to be a weird coincidence with these cases. Thanks. I mean, like I said, these are just criterias that he looks for at this point because they happen so often. Yeah. You would really just have to sit down and look at these cases and just look at this, because like I said, there's so many cases.
Well, we got time. We got all the time in the world. We'll probably go through a hefty amount of cases.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, this absolutely could be a multiple parter, because this conspiracy in and of itself is it's huge to me. It's fascinating. The more you look at these cases and the deeper you get into it, it's just fascinating stuff, honestly.
Damn.